Hi, everybody, and I am with Colleen and Cheryl, and we make up the Consistently Creative crew. Last evening, we assembled the Your Own Way Simple Page Kit number 4, and I did not have a chance to record the digital instructions, so I wanted to take a few minutes to do that. So this is the page kit that we assembled traditionally, and it comes as 2 base papers, 1 cutaway paper, and a sticker sheet. And the base papers this time had this diamond design of going across both pages, and that was going to take a little bit of extra time to do digitally. So the digital folks met last night and we did that part. And then while the traditional scrapbookers were assembling their pages, the digital people were able to finish it up. So I wanted to just kind of walk through the digital portion of all of this. So I created a handout that is very similar to what we normally do with the cutaway dimensions, information about the base papers, as well as how the final assembly works. But on the base papers, it was going to take a little bit more in order to create this. Some people were working on this traditionally, and while I did not provide any cut apart instructions in order to do that, I recognize that some people actually might want to do that, but I just wanted to focus on the digital part. So I created a separate handout for the digital people, and I can share that with anybody who's interested. But I'm going to walk through this. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to create 1 diamond, and then we are going to arrange them in this group of 10, shade them at the same colors as what we have here, and then we are going to use a transparent mat in order to get them evenly spaced. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a diamond, and we want to do it from the content panel. We found some of the other ways of doing it, ended up with slightly different results, so we want to do it this way, and you'll end up with something very, very similar to what the Creative Memories base pages are. So I'm going to move this off of my workspace, and I can see it on my other screen. So first of all, we're going to go to our content panel, go to the puppy paw, and we are going to select our built-in kits, and we are going to select the diamond shape, which is down here. It happens to be in the geometric. And on my other screen, I've got the option to create this shape. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The dimensions that I wanted to use was 2.0625. Now, you'll notice when I tab over to the other one, the 5 is going to disappear, but it's still actually there within the software. So 2.75. And that is the dimension that I really want to use. And then I'm going to go ahead and color this in. I'm going to use this darkish blue-green color as one of them, and I don't want a stroke, and I'm going to go ahead and click create. So that was step 1. The next one is to copy and paste for a total of 10 diamonds. So I'm going to go ahead, right-click copy, right-click paste. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And I am going to just kind of get some of them out of my way and kind of get them out here. So now what I really want to do is end up getting them in the same arrangement as what I had on the other screen. So what do I need to do is I need this one and I need this one. So these two need to be this lighter color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a snip of this little image so you can actually see it on my screen as I go. Should have done that before. All right. So I'm going to grab it. I'm just going to put it up here so I can kind of see it. All right. So these are going to end up being like this. And I am going to end up locking my background so that I can stop grabbing it. And this. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in because the better aligned you can get these, the better off your whole mat is going to be. So this is kind of the foundation of this. I'm going to just set these all up. All right. So you can see I've started with this like V, and now I need 3 that are going to be purple. So I'll go ahead and change those. And then these other 2 are going to be that light blue color, and I will change those. And again, I'm going to zoom in, but these are going to be down here. I'm not going to put them right where I need them. I'm just going to kind of get them aligned, and then I'm going to zoom in so that I've got them set up really nicely. So this one is going to go right in here. And your alignment helpers will really help once you've got some of them set up. And this one is right in there. And I can tell something is not quite aligned, so I'm going to go ahead and take another look. So this is my first one. That one looks good. That one looks good. That one just looks slightly off. There we go. Now I think we're going to be in better shape. All right. So now I have all 10 of them pretty much in the same orientation as this. I have 3 of the dark blues, 4 of the lighter ones, and 3 purples. So I do not need that part there anymore. So I am going to select all of these. And I am going to go ahead and go to Photos, Frames, Customize, and I'm going to remove this. So what I really would want to do is add an effect, and I want to add a frame cutout. And you can see when you start, it looks kind of not what we're wanting. So I'm going to make the fill transparent, and I'm going to change the width to 3. And just like that, I have pretty much this basic section set up. So I am going to group this, arrange, grouping, group. And I know I'm going to need another set of these on my page. So I'm going to have 2 on this page. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to end up needing 2 on my right page. So I'm going to paste. All right, so you can see over here in my elements panel, I've got a right page started, and I've got to work on both of these pages. So now I'm going to show you the next little part. I'm going to go ahead and grab a snip here of this part. So on my sample, I do have information about how far apart things they have to be. So what I did is I took a measurement, and the tip of this purple diamond is 4.5 inches from the top edge and 1/4 of an inch from the left edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some ruler markers to help me out. So this one, I want it to be at 4.25, or no, 4.5, sorry. Okay, and then I want one. Oh, that's wrong. This one is supposed to be at 1/4. So I wanted it 0.25. And this one's at 4.25. Okay, and then I get that tip pretty close there, and I can zoom in if you want to, really make sure, but that's close enough for me. And I can see by this pattern that's on the page that I do not need one of these actual diamonds. So I am going to just delete that one. The reason I had you form it with 10 to begin with is because we're going to end up needing the one we just deleted on the other page, but this at least gets you with all of them spaced and colored kind of the right way. So that is that first one, and that is that one right there. So then what I'm going to want is I'm going to need to do this for the one that's in the bottom edge. And then this one is going to have its point right at 11. And that's right. And then the next one is going to be 0.875 from the bottom edge, which is at 11. I'm just gonna 11.125 and line that up. And I know that I am going to end up with 4 of them down here. And that's going to be fairly close. So you can see all I need is 4 diamonds here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ungroup. And I'm only going to keep those 4. So I'm going to get rid of some of these. And I'm going to recolor. So this one was purple in their sample. The top one was that light blue, and this one was that darker teal. So that is how I ended up setting this one up. And I can see as I'm looking at that, it's a little bit off. So maybe I'll just go ahead and fix it. Now I'm going to go ahead and group them. And that's a little bit closer. Okay, so now you can see that I have it set up. I don't really need these ruler markers anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and remove them. But you can see I've got the basics of this set up. The one additional thing is that they had this mask behind it. So I was trying to find something in some free kits that had some something that would be kind of similar to that. And I found a mask in the New Beginning Sampler Kit, which was a P2P one. And this green, when I changed it to a yellow, you can kind of see that I changed it to this yellow, and I put it behind all of these. I ended up shrinking it a little bit, but I was able to get that kind of glow right behind it. And I could change the color some and make it a little bit more opaque, kind of like that. And I think that did a pretty good job of reproducing or simulating what Creative Memories had in the original. And so this one is also going to need to go to the back. So I'm going to put that one back here. And I'm going to shrink it down a little bit more. And that is pretty much the way that page was. So now I'm going to go ahead and do similar things to the right-hand page. And actually, I will go ahead and grab this mask since I've already made it the color that I want, and I'll put it on this page and just put it off to the side. So now this one, it was 4 1/4 from the left. So set the position 4 1/4 and 2.25 from the top. And that was the tip of this one. So look at that. And just grab a snip of this, copy it, and I'll paste it here. So you can see that I'm doing this pattern right over here. And again, I don't need all of the ones that were there because of the way, but just trying to make it easy. It was easier to delete one than it was to add it back in. So now this is just like this group. And I will go ahead and I will add this behind it. And that is pretty similar. So that is that group. And now I just need, there's going to be 4 up here at the top again. It's very similar to what we had previously. And I will, it's 0.75 from the top edge, which is right about there. And it's 0.625 from the right edge. So checking 12 minus 0.625, that's 11.375. So I'll go ahead and get one close. And that's that. And you can see it's this tip right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do it like that. And then I'm going to ungroup. I'm going to get rid of the ones I don't need. And then I'm going to color in everything correctly. So it's the same as the original. And then these 2 are purple. And then that one's that dark green. And I will regroup again. And I think we're pretty close to that point. So the ruler markers are just really a guide. And now I've got a little bit more yellow here and do that. And I think that's pretty good. I actually think I could have shrunk it again because it's so much smaller. And that is pretty much that base paper. So I'm going to go ahead and take those rulers off. So I know that was a little bit more involved than what we normally have to actually create the base papers. But I think it does we did a pretty good job of getting it recreated. So now we can go back to our beginning information and now put on the cut aparts. So I'm going to go ahead and just insert a rectangle, and this one's going to be 12 by 3. And I didn't really have a good measurement for this, but I did see where its placement was on the sample. So if I go to the original image that Creative Memories have, you can see that it's kind of like almost at the points on this diamond, and it's a little bit lower there. So that's kind of where I aimed for. So you can kind of see here, it's very close. I'm going to go ahead and just raise this up a little bit. Maybe more like that. And now it's kind of lined up across the page for me. So, and then there were just 4 photo mats. So this was pretty simple. So I have 3 by 4 photo mats. So I'm just going to insert shape. This is a 3 by 4. And it was a lighter, it was kind of this lighter-ish color. I'm going to just use that for now. And I'm going to insert a photo frame. So these ended up being 2.5 by 3.5. And I'm going to center, and I'm going to go ahead and group because there were 4 of these. So I'm just going to copy and paste. So we're going to have them something like this. And now I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to go to the next page, and I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to go ahead and just ungroup. So the mat is 4 by 6. And the photo is 3.5 by 5.5. And it was lined up kind of like this on the original CM page. And that is pretty much the end of that layout. So it goes together pretty fast once you get the diamonds set up and figured out. It was interesting that Creative Memories has added this type of pattern to their paper, and these masks are kind of an interesting thing that we haven't seen a whole lot of in these simple page kits, but I think they worked out really well. A lot of people shared their pages on the traditional video, which was recorded live when we did this Zoom on Wednesday evening, but I can show you my page. So I will change to this one. And I thought that these diamonds looked a little bit like stained glass, so I did this kind of based on Pope Francis and watching him in school. So I thought it kind of looked like stained glass behind it. I thought it was kind of a neat effect, and I didn't have a whole lot of photos, so I used what I had and made it work. So as you can see that they had two smaller photos and I made a larger one, and I did the same thing with the other pair. So instead of having 4 photos on this one page, I ended up with 2. But it worked out very well for my layout. So I hope that you found that instruction helpful so you could create this page, this layout. And again, you're welcome to share your page and share it with us. We'd love to see what you create, and hope you enjoyed this. So be sure to put a thumbs up and let us know what you think. Give us a comment. It helps us out. We like knowing what you like, what you enjoy. And feel free to join us on Facebook with Consistently Creative Crew, as well as Consistently Creative Croppers, which is where everybody can share their creations with us. So thanks so much for watching.